So I just wanted to welcome everyone and a special welcome to the our extra special guest panelists today. I'm excited about this opportunity that we have had where students are able to learn firsthand about the interactive technology professionals, about their career journey and the career readiness skills that are important in the workplace. And you'll also hear about networking. Basically, we want to make sure that you are getting the information that you need to be successful. So thank you for joining us, because I'm ready to hear the panelists. So I'm going to move it along. Thank you, Deb.
So what I wanted to say to my students, and I thank everyone for showing up. A lot of you may not know who I am. I'm Professor Deborah Krikun of the new program called Interactive Technologies, ITECH. And the panelists today, as Tina will introduce, all represent the concentrations of the ITECH program. So again, my students rock. So happy you're here. It's going to be an invaluable session. So thanks so much.
That's all right. Hi, everyone. I am Judy Morano. I am so excited to be part of this project. This project came out of a conversation that happened about 6 months ago, and we are thrilled that it came and actually happened. Just so you know, I am not only a professor at WCC, and I love you guys, I am also a business owner, and networking has changed my business. It has doubled my business. So I want you guys to really pay attention, listen carefully to what these professionals have to say. I'd like to introduce Tina Campbell. Tina Campbell is the Regional Director of Master Networks. She organizes all of us into some form of order. And she is also a dear friend of mine, and I'm so happy that she gets to meet the students from WCC. Tina Campbell.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. I'm really excited. I've wanted to work with WCC for a number of years now and find out how we can help each other to create business opportunities. The sky's the limit, but I really want to say thank you to all the board from WCC here, Judy, of course, and the panelists that are coming in. Somebody will let Ivan.
I got it.
So what the heck is networking? You guys think it's this on your phone, right? You guys think it's social networking, but it's actually face-to-face sometimes, talking to people. It's really about creating relationships. I'm sure you guys have heard this through the adults in your lives that say, listen, it's who you know when you're going to go out and get that job, right? If you're talking to friends, relatives, whoever, actively listening to them and finding out what's going on with them, right? So it's not all about you. Networking is very important that you kind of get that active listening going. And last but not least, kind of think about what is it that you want to tell these people in your life as to what you want to do. Maybe you don't really know. And maybe some of what you'll hear today will give you that kind of clarity. And that's what we're hoping to do with this and with other mentoring programs. The people that you are going to meet today on the panel are very, very open to speaking with you and communicating. And you'll do that through Deborah, your chairperson. So I'm going to go ahead, and if we can go to the next slide, I'd like to give you a little bio on who you're going to be hearing today. So first panelist, as I said, is a friend of mine. Maggie Carey is the founder and CEO of Master It Media. Maggie's a social media strategist with over 35 years of information technology experience. She blends her theatrical background with her corporate experience to educate businesses on developing an engaging social media presence to build an audience of raving fans. Next, we have Rob Genovese, who is a brand builder. He has over 30 years as a designer, having worked in advertising, marketing, and publishing. Rob launched his business, Unleash My Beast brand, in 2015 as a website and design company, after coming to the realization that logos and websites didn't actually help businesses succeed. That it's the strategy that makes them effective. He evolved his enterprise into a brand strategy company. David Pascaru, with the animation behind him, is in charge of business development at Purely Imagined. His passion for storytelling evolved at a young age as he was making movies with the neighborhood kids. His professional career started as he rose to a manager role overseeing a team of 6 editors and videographers. Networking has become a big part of his daily life. And last but not least, Dan Taples. He's owner of Right Click Solutions. He assumes many roles within that, including building customer relationships, business development, overseeing long-term growth and goals. Dan earned Bachelor of Science from Oneonta in Business Management and a minor in CIS. He has obtained network certifications from Microsoft, MSCE, and Novell CNE. Dan brings his technical and corporate background from AIG and ABC Television to the consulting industry, spanning over 25 years of experience. That's the group.
Okay, so Maggie, since you're up on the list first, we'll start with your questions. So these questions are for the students to understand why did we choose these questions. These questions are the foundation to help you to understand what is expected to understand the company that you might be applying to for an internship. So Maggie, could you just give us a brief overview of your company and the level of opportunities when you do bring in on internships and how you determine to pursue this career as path? That's a lovely personal narrative story.
All right. So I'm the CEO and founder of Master at Media. So I am the driving force behind what happens behind the scenes. I do have 2 employees that work for me, but one of my full-time employees started off as an intern, and he has graduated college with a degree in marketing and minor in business. He did have a design background as well, so that kind of made a really great fit for my business. The biggest thing I have to say about the opportunities is it's not always about the skill set, but it's about the attitude that a student has, that personality to kind of, admit they made a mistake and we fix it together, or they come up with a solution to fix it. Those are things that when you're running a business are really important. The skill set matched with that amazing attitude. As far as how I determined to pursue this career, I ended up with a degree. I have a degree in IT. I graduated, was working as a junior in college in a full-time position. And then I decided that after many, many years of working for government, nonprofits, corporate America, the whole 9 yards. So I did 20 years of working in the trenches. I decided that I wanted to start my own business because I felt that I had a passion for doing this. The social media obviously was not something that was around 35 years ago. So I started with programming, management, IT. I was working on hardware as well. So I have all that background and experience, but I also have a background in theater, which helped me know how to entertain people, which is what social media is really about. So that's how I blended that along with education as well on my YouTube channel. So I'm blending in a lot of this to create that overall business structure.
Thank you so much, Maggie. And we'll move forward to Rob.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, I'm Rob Genovese. My company is Unleash My Beast brand. I'm a brand builder. And in my intro, you heard that I have over 30 years as a graphic designer. That is my degree. I myself went to a 2-year college and got a degree in graphic design and advertising technologies. I have worked for advertising agencies, marketing agencies, publishers, retail chains, did a lot of graphic design over the years, managed creative teams for the better part of my 25-year career in corporate America before going out and starting my own company. I started my own company because I accumulated a lot of skills and there was something specific I wanted to do, which was help make an impact in business. I always wanted to own my own business, to be able to do the things that I truly wanted to work on. And so that idea of making an impact is what made me evolve from a graphic design company. So in 2015, I started out as a website and design company. building websites, offering graphic design services, which included logo design, marketing collateral, anything that required design. And a bulk of my work came from website design and website development. That really was a great business, but I was looking for something with a little bit more impact in how big a business could grow. And that's when I turned to strategy. So brand strategy is actually the vehicle that allowed me to make an impact in businesses and helping them really understand who they are as a brand. And, brand, we know we've heard this term for a long time, and a lot of people have different ideas of what that is. But it is the core of who you are and what makes you unique in the marketplace and who you serve, that ideal client. And my strategy teaches a company how to find out what makes them different, attract the ideal client. And that's what really made a big difference in business and what I actually love to do. That's where my passion lies. So I still do a little bit of design. I do subcontract with copywriters to write the branding copy, a lot of that brand voice, we call it, as well as contracting with web designers and graphic designers and video editors to help me with a lot of this stuff. I do have a YouTube channel as well, which I teach designers how to think more strategic, also helping businesses how to better their brand. And so that was how I evolved into that and kind of who I'm looking for, when I take on people. The passion that I found for the strategy is me working with clients and seeing their eyes light up when they discover who they really are. And then when they implement, actually attracting the clients that they really want to do business with. Because in my business, I feel like if I'm not having fun, if I'm not enjoying it, then I'm probably doing something wrong. I feel like you should really enjoy what you do and find what you do. Mine has been a long journey to get to this point, but at a most fulfilling point in my life in doing what I'm doing now. And what makes it challenging is every client is a little bit different, but that's what makes it so interesting.
Thank you so much, Rob. I love hearing Maggie and Rob echo the things that we talk in class. So this is why it's invaluable to hear from the real deal. Thank you so much, Rob. David, let's go to your studio, your animation studio.
Sure, yeah, so Purely Imagine. Hey guys, thanks for having me today. Purely Imagine, we're a motion design studio. We produce animated videos that are used to explain things. Our videos are created to educate and to entertain. We have clients in the cryptocurrency space, manufacturing, and in agriculture. I take on more of a CEO role in the company. I'm tasked with thinking about the future of the company, plan and strategize, how we're going to grow. If you have a skill like animation, you know how to do something, it's important to be able to sell your service and in a way where you win on top, because as an artist or as a creator, sometimes we take a step back and we're spoken to. So I spend a lot of time finding new clients, conducting sales calls, making contracts, and then producing and managing the projects. And entry-level opportunities for in our area right now would be more of an assistant editor type or a graphic designer, someone on that side for the creative department. And then on the business side, it'd be more administrative type work, helping us find clients that see the value in what we want and just the other background type tasks. I got involved in this career in a little bit of a different way. I've always been in the video world. I studied film in college and I entered the professional videography industry when I graduated. So at first I was a freelancer as an artist. I was very technical creating the art. But then March of 2020, we weren't able to film anymore for obvious reasons. That's when my business partner, Alan, he began studying animation. And for me, I've always been more of an ideas person, a lot less of a technical person. So when Alan was learning animation, I thought, I'm going to go learn how to run a business. And I started studying business development side. And it was very natural fit on my end. Alan fit very well into the editor side. So together we've created this studio that in the last year or so has been growing.
Well, that's fantastic for ITECH, because that's exactly the third concentration between digital marketing, computer animation, game design, and of course, branding and social media. So thank you, David. Now let's go to the guy that's the hardware guy, the guy that helps us to do all these things, to Dan.
Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate it. So again, my name is Dan Taples. The name of my company is Right Click Solutions. We're a local outsourced IT company, which I'll go into in a second. But first of all, I want to highlight some of the things that Tina pointed out. When you're at the barbecue, when you're at a baseball game, you're talking to other people, talk to them about what you want to do in the future, right? What you learned in school, what you like to do and what you don't like to do. Believe it or not, you may say, wow, my uncle's friend's cousin owns a graphic design company. Let me make an introduction for you. The more you talk to people, the more people want to help more than you know, but they don't know what you don't know. So if you talk to them and express what you want to do, you'll be amazed at how many people want to help you strive in your career. So that's first and foremost that I want people to take away from here. Secondly, again, we are the best way that I could describe of what we are as an IT company is at a big company where I used to work, ABC Television 25 years ago, which I traveled to the Super Bowl to support the computers, an amazing experience. So at ABC Television, I was their internal computer guy, managing viruses, managing computers, managing things for 5,000 computers. But at small businesses and nonprofits throughout the county and throughout the world, they don't have the resources. So they hire us, a company like us, we're what's called a managed service provider, an MSP. So managed service provider, our clients are small businesses, nonprofits. We handle their hardware, as Deborah said. We help set it up. We troubleshoot it. My computer's slow. How does my computer get backed up? How do I protect ourselves from all this talk in the world that you hear about ransomware, encryption, and things like that? That's what we're doing. We build the strong houses and we help protect the businesses and the data from people breaking into those houses. So that's what we do. We're like the infrastructure company. So we encourage people to come in and intern for us. We have 1 or 2 interns a year. And during that interview process, I actually ask the people, the good news is, guys, you've picked an awesome field to go into, technology. The bad news is it can go in a lot of different directions. So you have to decide, and it can change 5 different times, but you should just sort of decide. And when you come in and interview for a company and hope everyone gets that opportunity, ask the questions. What do you guys do? I really love doing web design. I really love the hardware aspect of it. And that, if anything, when anybody comes to interview for us, I help them guide them in their career path. So that's what we are. That's what we do. Again, I applaud everyone for taking an hour out of your day today.
Thank you so much, Dan. And, it's so important to understand that, all of what we're talking about is the whole structure of really being able to understand the niches, as Dan was talking about. And this is why the foundation of ITECH gives you a foundation, and then you go off onto your electives to choose your specialization that you're passionate about. So the time right now is 11:21. So we're going to go through these next questions a little briefly, simply because we want to get to that shop talk at the very end and have questions from any of the students as well. So Maggie, we're back to you, and your sound is off, which is great. And what we'd like to know in a brief way, what is a typical day like you for your career regarding software technologies, work schedule, and the demands from clients?
Absolutely. So I start off every day, usually with a networking meeting with Master Networks. That is how I juice myself up. Of course, I've got to exercise and eat and get my day going first, go into my networking meeting, meet with a whole bunch of really amazing people. It's also a way to promote my business. Then I usually spend my morning with either working on client work or meeting with my clients, doing strategy sessions. I educate myself and do research in my industry, because that is critical in the social media field because it changes every single day. So education is a tremendous important thing that you've got to time block. And then I also educate others. I take that knowledge and I educate other people, again, through whether it's my social media posts or whether it's my YouTube channel or whether it's one-on-one strategy sessions with clients. That YouTube channel, my socials, are also a way to promote my business. So it feeds both lives. And then, of course, I meet with my staff. I have also 5 people in my sphere of influence that I call my board of directors. I meet with them on a weekly basis, and we strategize and talk about each other's businesses and help each other. A lot of my business is about giving,
Great.
and then the receiving comes with it, just naturally.
So glad to hear about research, and so glad to hear about how exciting the brainstorming is and all the multitasking that social media challenges you with. Let's go to Rob. What was a typical day?
Yeah, so typical day. You'll hear a common theme here, but start every morning with some networking with Master Networks at chapter meetings, doing face-to-faces with people, a one-on-one to meet people, get to know them. It's all about relationships. No matter what you do and what you learn technology-wise, without relationships, it's really difficult to get a lot done. And so I'll start off my day with that. I will go to the gym. Health and fitness is an important part of my life because the days can be long owning your own business, and the hours can be very up and down. So I've always got to make sure that I have peak energy. I will do some face-to-face in the afternoon and some client work and some client meetings. Those client meetings might be just consultations to see if it's a good fit. It's not always a good fit, and I'm always prepared to be like, no, I will steer them in another direction, pass them off to a colleague of mine who can help them, because it's all about what did they need, how do I help them get it. It's not about always selling my services. And some of those meetings with clients is very active, and it's helping them actively build that brand, helping them discover things about themselves that they didn't know, and how they can amplify that throughout the social media and in any of their marketing. And so that's really the day-to-day things. The design part of it is I am involved in that. I am hiring people to do that kind of thing because there's a lot to be done in a day, and of course I can't get it all done myself. The design I still love to do, but I also love to work with people who are creative because I want their ideas. I don't want all my ideas to come from me. I want them to come from other people. So again, there's a lot of interactions with people who I'm making new friends with, existing colleagues, some of them on this call here through Master Networks, where I'm talking with regularly, again, to develop the relationships to find out how can we add value to somebody today.
Well, I'm so glad you're talking about relationships because that's what our classmates are, our peers. We can begin to network right today. Many times I hear people who have an alumni that they have very much are close to. So thank you, Rob. Let's go to David.
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. All day I'm on LinkedIn. I use it that's where my customer base is, and I use the platform to reach out to targeted potential clients. We create a lot of content all the time, and so I have stuff to post online, whether it's a blog article or an animated loop or a funny thing we created, just something to stay active on LinkedIn. And that way, the people I want to be connected with in my network see me, know I'm there, and I stay top of mind in that sense. If I'm not directly reaching out to clients, I'll be answering inbound inquiries. Usually I'm on Zoom, either discovery call with a potential client. Like Rob said, are we a good fit? Is it going to work out? And if not, how can I still help you move on to a different, to get a different solution? Or I'm having an actual sales call where I'm talking to a vetted prospect, someone that I know it's a good fit. We've already discussed a little bit. So now it's time to close the deal and get the job. And if not that, then I'm talking to actual clients, figuring out the project and, planning with them. If I'm not doing any of that stuff at my house, I'm usually over at Alan's, and we're working on his designs, looking at what he's planning and for the projects and our own content. For that, he uses the whole Adobe suite, After Effects, Cinema 4D, Photoshop, all that. So that's our day-to-day. Also, fitness and nutrition is big in my part, like Rob. So we always make sure to log off at a good time to hit the gym.
And also, you hit it on the head, time management. Time management, like Maggie said, to eat a good breakfast, having all those multitasking activities that go on. You mentioned LinkedIn. As I tell my students, when they ask me to join, add them as a LinkedIn, their blog has got to be together because I have a reputation. And so that's why it's important to always be front end professionals. So that's why we're here today. Let's move to Dan.
So I sentiments with a lot of the panelists already. My eyes will opened at 4:05 a.m. today, and that's how I start my day for most days of the week. And I encourage everyone, whenever your eyes open, maximize your day, from whether it be at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Maybe you're a night bird. Maximize your time and plan it out. It's so important. In our world, there is no typical day, except I make sure I revolve it around family. Family is always first. Health is up there too, of course, even more important and equal as family. And then you throw in a little bit of work in the middle. But if you're not healthy and you're not feeling good and you're not happy, your work's going to suffer. So to also revolve around that is a key aspect of whatever career path you go into. A typical day here at RightClick, one day we may be pulling cabling, one day we may be building servers or computers or firewalls. So that's the good news of when you work at an MSP. There is no typical day. You meet a lot of people, you do a lot of different things, which is really great, which is one of the main reasons why I love being here.
Well, this is so exciting because your company is really the foundation of what we're able to do. So it's really important to work that collaborative environment, like you had mentioned, Dan. And so we're going to move on, and I'm going to, because of our timing, I'm going to combine this next question, and we're going to kind of randomly mix this panel up. So what are the aspects of your career? What is the appealing and the challenging? And David, we're going to start with you first.
I knew you were going to pick me. So
your animation.
So the most appealing for me is every client I run across is a new problem with a different story to tell. When I think of something in my mind and then I watch it come to life, give it to the client, see their reaction, and then watch how it impacts their business, that's the most appealing part of what we do, on a daily basis. The most thanks, Rob. The most challenging aspect for me, I'm going to look at it as a career of an entrepreneur. Most challenging part for that is the uncertainty, not having a safety net underneath us. It's a very liberating feeling. It's also very scary. We get out directly what we put into it. So if I make a decision to pursue a certain person or an industry, I can spend months on that. If I'm right, great, it worked. If I'm wrong, it could be detrimental to our whole operation. But I like to look at everything as a learning opportunity. So if I spend a couple months looking at something doesn't work out, what did I learn? And let's move on to, the next success.
Fantastic, David. Let's go to Rob. You're appealing and challenging.
Yeah, I'll echo what David says. The reason, again, I evolved to a brand strategy company, because it is that kind of aha moment with clients when, they're coming to me with a real struggle. They're going, I feel like I'm constantly chasing down clients, trying to sell them, trying to get them to hire me. And what branding does is branding eliminates that. Branding makes them want to work with you. And so when clients come to me, it's usually because they do want to work with me, because they've seen some social media, they've been given a quality referral. And when I sit with them and I explain my process, they're encouraged. But when we start working together and it starts unfolding, they start discovering what is really at the core of the brand, what makes them tick, and their eyes get wide and they're like, oh, and now they understand how critical that part plays in them building their business or succeeding at their job. Because it's really about understanding what you're doing so that you're not just taking stabs in the dark, that what you're doing is right and it feels right. And so you can go forward every day with confidence, knowing that I am who I am. I attract a certain set of people and they're good with that and I'm good with that. You're going to have your lovers, you're going to have your haters. That's just part of life. But we want to learn how to track the lovers and seeing them go, wow, I really love this. One of the things I've had happen multiple times is I've had business owners come to me and say, I know we were going to attract clients, but one of the things I didn't count on was I've learned to love my business again. And for me, that's what makes my day worth it.
Yeah, that is inspiration is such a rewarding career. So thank you for that, Rob. Dan, let's go to you.
Great. I often tell the story of how you hear athletes, professional, even baseball players and football players say, wow, I'm getting paid to play baseball. I'm getting paid for doing things that I love to do. And when we go to clients and we solve their problems and literally our clients thank us and send us gifts. I'm like, wow, I love this and I'm getting paid for this. it's just an amazing experience. So being in tech and loving what you do is truly the most important thing, no matter what you do. Tech, of course, has my heart all of the day, so every day of the week. So if you guys really love tech, the reward will be when you solve, as David said, when you solve those challenges, when you solve those problems, it's countless the number of times you'll just love going to work. And that's the thing that people need to take away. You hear people how they don't like going to work every day. I encourage everyone, getting into a career that you would love. The money will come, your success will come, but love what you do.
Okay. So well said, Dan. And you know, that's the whole aspect of learning is problem solving. You know, getting around software, fixing your computer, finding that inspiration, and so forth. Thank you, Dan. Let's go to Maggie.
So I have to echo what Dan said. Look, I had another business before this, and I changed over to doing social media. Rob actually helped me fine tune my brand. What I did was I was doing all like websites and helping people with their computers and doing social media, and it was too much and it was overwhelming. So as far as the challenge went, when I started zoning in on social media, I zoned in on social media management for businesses. And what I loved about it is that stress that businesses have, because social media is foreign for some people and they find it frustrating, and they get physically and emotionally stressed out, and it manifests itself into a lot of different unhealthy lifestyle choices. When I come in and I help a business figure out their social, they start off with this very tense talk and then they relax and they're happy. Like, I make people happy. That's awesome. So when I'm happy and they're happy and their social media is rocking, it's like, how can you not start, be like, I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So find that passion that makes you, what in the core of your heart, what makes you want to wake up in the morning and do something? And that's the thing you should focus on.
Thank you, Maggie. That is so true. Gelaine, we can go to the next slide now. And, I wanted to say that that's such an important context of being able to find that passion and really find that niche of wanting to find the career that you're seeking. And what I love about technology is how accessible it is and how everything is possible for many people in being able to do the challenges and finding their career path. So on to the next question again, and I think this is our last of ours, is what credentials, educational degrees, or certifications that you need, that is needed, that you feel that when you bring in an internship for your company, because I'm really mostly concerned about internship right now, because these are opportunities. And then of course you can also talk about how sometimes if you're going for the hire, what you're looking for in the degree. So let's start with Dan on this one.
Great. So in our world, in the managed service provider world, it really helps to have a good foundation of the hardware, as Deborah was saying before. That's a lot of our business that we do is hardware and the infrastructure, but having a base foundation of how do I take a computer apart? What is a memory? What is a hard drive? That's really a good foundation. I love certifications too. In my intro, I mentioned I have a CCNA, I have an MCSE, I have all these certifications, but when you're getting into the ground floor in our world, in the MSP world, it helps to have a good foundation of networking, and then it also have a good foundation of the hardware aspect of it.
Good. And let's go to David.
Yeah, so in the art world, whether you're an animator, a videographer, graphic designer, a degree, people might say is not always necessary. You have, if you know how to use the softwares and you know how to do, and you have a good portfolio and background, that could get you places. For me, going to film school definitely got me where I am now. I met a lot of people, I made a lot of good connections while I was in school, and it like fast-tracked me to being in the industry rather than just being somebody who's interested. An entry level for an animation type, industry like mine, knowing the softwares, Adobe Suite, After Effects, all of that is, it's very important. Usually when someone starts their own business, they think they already have a skill and a technique, and they think I can do this for myself. So, as an entry level position for an entrepreneur or someone running a small business, a degree would be helpful. It certainly was for me when I entered the film industry. But most importantly, you need to have the passion and the trust in your ideas. You have to have those things and to navigate while you're, figuring out where you want to be in your business.
Great.
Yeah.
That's perfect, David. Maggie, let's hear your story.
So, look, I'm a big believer in getting that education. Figure out whether it's marketing, what section, because look, social media is a wide range. You could be on the design side, you could be on the marketing side. So figure out, get a major and a minor that are different enough but complement each other. That's a big suggestion. And also I suggest if you're really going into the social media field, you need to establish a professional looking feed. So whatever one, Instagram, whether you want to do video on YouTube, TikTok, I don't care what it is, but pick one and start today and start developing that strictly professional looking thing so that you can send it to your prospects to show your work, because that's what it really comes down to.
Spot on, Maggie, on that. And Rob.
Yeah, so I hold an associate's degree myself before I decided to go out into the world and work. I was just eager to work, but I'm going to say that there's two things that are needed, and I'll speak to anybody who's looking to be a designer or studying to be a graphic designer, because that's what I have the most experience in, is that the absolutely 100%, like Deborah said, you guys do learn the Adobe Creative Suite, which is, I'm in it every single day. That is without a doubt. One thing is learn the software, the tools to the fullest extent. One of the things I saw over the years in managing creative teams was a lot of designers stopped at some of the basics and they wouldn't learn what every menu did, what every command did. Find out what the things can do. That's as far as the tool. So maximize your tool's ability. The second thing is design. Because a person knows the tools doesn't necessarily know they mean design. Design is very challenging and it's very hard to set yourself apart. So understand what true design is, what makes good design, what it's really meant to do, which is communicate an idea. It's not like fine arts. Fine arts is, the content and the experience is in the experience of the person viewing it. It's interpretive. But graphic design is communicative. It's supposed to send a very specific message. And to learn how to strategically think, how do I get the viewer to take action based on the design is what you're looking to do. So it's twofold. It's maximizing your ability to use the tools. Definitely, at least an associate's, and a certificate is fine. But to have that certificate or degree in graphic design outside of the tools is imperative to understanding, because I knew a lot of people over the years who didn't succeed to their potential because they didn't really understand what design was.
So true. So true. So now, and that's why, our challenge as educators is teaching them, the whole ball game, such as the software tools, the design principles, the digital marketing principles, in all that context. So now we're going to kind of chisel down to very specific things that you're looking for, the readiness, so that if our students on this panel come to you, what would you be looking for directly as far as the skills that are needed, or what you just need right now? Maybe, another day, another down the line, you might need something else. But as far as today, Maggie, what would you say you would want them to have knocking on your door for an opportunity?
Well, the first thing is authenticity. I need somebody to be straightforward, focused, and dedicated. Those are things that they're passionate about what they do and that they take pride in their work. Professionalism is definitely up there. With us, the written word is extremely important because that's what we're creating, along with the graphics. But you can't have any of this without solid communication. Like I mentioned before, we all have those things where when you're running into a challenge, you've got to communicate that. So I look for these kind of soft skills along with the hard skills like the tech knowledge and things of that nature.
Great, Maggie. And David?
Yeah, so she used the last word I was going to start with was communication. The first thing I would, look at is this person communicate. Do you walk in and shake my hand right away and look at me in the eyes, that kind of communication, but also being able to listen and have an in-depth conversation, listening to understand and then engage rather than just to answer a question. Like, do you really understand? When I'm working with a freelancer, whether a graphic designer or animator, communication is the first thing that turns me off. If they say I'll be ready in a week or so, I'd like to, and I reach out to them, see how it's going. I want to get that feedback back. A lot of times I'll get an answer, Dave, I'm so sorry, I had to do this yesterday, and a whole big paragraph of, what happened, which is okay. But I just really want to own up and say, this is where I'm at. This is where I should be. Here's how I'm going to do it. And then that's great communication for me, because then I can say, okay, at least they're on it, and then follow up.
Great. Thank you, David. Dan?
So it seems like communication is the hot topic here, and I'm going to ride on that train for a second. Your generation, guys, has the hardest part here because you've grown up communicating with this phone or your devices. So we need to think outside, think how our parents communicated, picking up the phone, being prepared for that interview, coming with a list of questions. So it may not be in your wheelhouse to communicate because you're communicating with your iPhones, your Androids, and everything like that. But this is a tech meeting, right? That's why we're here to talk about tech stuff. But that speech class that you go to, that communication class, is equal, if not more important, that I look for when a person comes into my office. Can they communicate well? Can I envision them picking up the phone and calling my customer? I'll know in a minute. I want them wearing my hat, or no, I can't have that person call my customer. How are they going to act? So that's what I'm looking for.
Excellent. That's so true. And Rob?
So one thing that I've got to say that has been the common theme throughout my life that I didn't have right out of college, unfortunately, it took me a couple of years, was being very learning based. And now, as part of Master Networks, our networking and opportunity organization, Tina Campbell, now, look, I'm 53 years old. I got 4 kids, 2 in college, 3 in college, 1 is out, and then a high school student is my son. But Tina Campbell is a mentor of mine. She teaches me all the time. I have different mentors in my life. I'm still learning at 53, 25 years in corporate America, 6 years in business, doing what I'm doing, pretty successful at it, but I'm still learning. So the one thing I look for above all else is actually attitude, a good attitude, openness, but that ability to say, look, I'm still learning, because the challenge is I felt this once I got out of college. I thought that, it ended there with learning, but any teacher will tell you, you're always learning. You never stop learning. So as long as you're open to learning, a guy like me who's looking to hire somebody, I'm going to come to you and I'm going to go, hey, here's the challenge. What do you think about this? And you go, well, I'm not sure. What if we tried this? Well, it's like, we're learning together. So I'm always looking for people who want to learn with me, who understand that, look, I know you're learning, I'm learning. Sometimes we're just figuring stuff out, but that's the fun of it.
Yeah, I'm so with you on that. And I think there's some really highlight points that were discussed on that last question, which is what Maggie said about major and minors, and what Rob said about learning, and what David and Dan talked about is communication, which is why I have students write their narratives. Why did you make that decision? What was the basis of it? So that you can inspire people to understand your creative ideas or a technical solution. How did you create that back door to get around that technical problem? So this is such an exciting opportunity to have, where everybody is talking about learning. And I honestly wouldn't enjoy this field if I was not learning. So I learn from my students. We learned from the panelists today. So let's move on to the next question. I'm going to combine this. Yes.
Deborah, hey, can I just, do you
Sure.
mind if I interrupt for 1 second? So I just want
Please
to bring,
do. Please do.
I have 25 years plus of corporate HR experience. Last job I was in was a director of HR for a Japanese trading house. So I just want to tell you something. This is so important what these guys were saying. Skills can be taught, but character cannot be taught. So when you go in there, I love of going in there and shaking some of that person you meet at the front desk when you go into a company, or that person that you're speaking with, shake their hand, look them in the eye, give them your full name, get the power of that full name. Also wanted to say is, guys, don't forget to learn some business skills. Even if you learn from the person that you're, if you go into an IT company like Dan's, what all else is Dan going to teach you as far as building a business? Because this is so important. And last, if it's okay with you guys, I have a series of articles on LinkedIn that I have who to network every year that you're in college, freshman through senior year, if that's okay that I post that in the chat.
Oh,
So
please do.
Short article on who to network with in your life. Thank you.
Absolutely. And actually everyone on this team and conference that we're having on Zoom will connect with Tina for the mentoring, because the leadership and the teamwork, all of this is what we're doing right now. We're building those bridges for everyone who's participating. And that means a bridge for our panelists to connect with us and the students to connect to the panelists. So thank you, Tina. Excellent on resources, how much we need that as well. So let's go back to our questions. We're going to combine these last two. So that networking, how did you feel, and your career advice for students? Let's start with that one first. What is your recommendation? Maggie, we'll start with you as the beginning. What do you think the students should do today?
Can I interrupt?
Yes, Judy.
Yeah, we have a student who actually asked this question, so maybe we can make it more directed.
Sure,
A student planning to work on graphic design in the near future. In immediate advice for getting an internship. Can one of you take that? There's only a few minutes left, and I do want to get to some of these student questions.
Yeah, we can. I think that's an excellent idea, Judy. Let's do that. So let's jump to the question that Lucas has. So students, go ahead, chime in on the chat. Judy's watching out for you on this. So could you repeat that question from Lucas again?
Hold on one second. Actually, it's not from Lucas, it's from Tyler. Let me go to the top and get Lucas's question. Nope, don't see that one. I have a question about someone looking to get into fashion design for a major in the spring. What kind of business should I be studying?
Fashion design.
Yeah, but what kind of, in business world? I think they're asking about what kind of business classes possibly would be beneficial.
Maggie, I'll let you go for that one.
I'm glad you asked me about this one, because with fashion, it's the visual. Definitely, if you're looking into business, you want to have a social media presence with this, and I would suggest one of the visual platforms, TikTok, YouTube, or Instagram, because you want to have that presence. As far as a business, that's something where you have to figure out what's your other interest besides fashion.
Yeah.
And then marry the two.
And I went to you because I know how important social media is in fashion. Judy, that question that Lucas had?
Actually, I'm going to go to Tyler first. I'm sorry, Tyler first. Tyler asked about graphic design in the near future. Any quick advice for him on where to look, what to do, what's his next step?
Rob, you want to take that?
Yeah, thank you. So Tyler, what I would recommend is this, coming out of school and getting into the graphic design industry. First of all, it's a very competitive field, and there's a lot of people in it. And so what you want to do is you want to demonstrate your abilities, taking advantage of social media and learning from somebody like Maggie Carey on how to do that properly, to be able to put out there your abilities. People want to know how do you think? And what is what do you produce? Because it's really your thinking, or in this case, your design work, that's going to sell you. So I would say, do free work. If you can get a great opportunity, I would sooner do it for free, because when you add that to your portfolio, you can then take that amazing work for a real client that was real world stuff, and then go show that to similar type of businesses and say, look what I did for them. I could do the same for you. That will go a long way in you getting the work, as opposed to just trying to go get any job, like a lot of students do out of college. They just go looking for a job because of a job post. Find out. Now, you say you want to go into comics and manga. That's the world you want to live in. You want to generate your social media so that you're following a lot of experts in that field, a lot of leaders. Learn from them, perfect your craft as you go. And that would be my best advice.
And I think that's the key, is perfecting the craft.